What's up everybody, I'm System Check 66, welcome to the channel, and we've got some new Resident Evil 8 rumours. So apparently there's going to be a female protagonist, a new one. We've got some idea of who the villain is. Chris Redfield is apparently bad, as far as it stands, and more major details revealed. So I'm getting this from comicbook.com. A new Resident Evil 8 rumour is making the rounds, revealing details about the unannounced but heavily rumoured PS5, PS4, Xbox Series X, Xbox One and PC survival horror game. The chief of these details is word of a new playable character named Emily, who sounds like she will be the protagonist of the game, or at least a secondary protagonist next to Ethan. Meanwhile, the rumour also sheds some alleged details about the game's setting, returning characters, themes, gameplay mechanics, and more. So we've got possible Resident Evil 8 spoilers ahead, so yeah, be warned. According to Resident Evil site Biohazard Cast and its sources, parts of the upcoming horror game are played as a mountain resident named Emily, a woman in her late 20s who is aiding the game's other main character, Ethan Winters, the protagonist of Resident Evil 7. According to the report, Emily is on a search for her father and grew up in the village where the game takes place. Now here's the juicy bits. Why is Ethan in this mysterious village? Well, apparently it begins with him, Mia and their child, the latter of which is deformed as a result of infections. That's the child. In other words, it's not a normal child. As a result, the trio live a pretty lonely life in a remote place in an attempt to hide their child, and they do this for a while until it's interrupted by Chris Redfield, who breaks in Ethan's house, or into Ethan's house, executes the mutant child and shoots Mia as well. All very strange. Ethan is presumably knocked out because when he wakes up, the child is dead, but Mia is alive. Now, that's a little bit different to what we were sort of told before, where the child got kidnapped, or it was something along those lines, so I'm not too sure about how this will hold up. So yeah, it says, Ethan wakes up, child is dead, but Mia is alive after Chris bandages her up. However, there are some shadowy figures in the room, and not long after, Ethan is abducted and taken to the aforementioned village. So that's interesting. Ethan is abducted. Like before, we'd heard that Mia was abducted and he went on this, this quest to find her. Seems that he gets abducted, so who knows what's going on. So yeah, he's taken to the aforementioned village where there's apparently been numerous disappearances lately, a bit like Resident Evil 1. Further, it's unclear why Redfield did what he did, and then also bandaged up Mia. So he kills a child but bandages up Mia. In addition to the village, players will also explore the surrounding caves, forests and even castles, all very Resident Evil 4, giving the game a larger focus on outdoor locations than previous games. It's quite interesting. Might have a sort of Doom style, not in the same sort of blunt way as Doom, and that's a good thing, by the way. It's not going to be like Doom where it's just like fast-paced, aggressive combat and stuff like that, but maybe we'll get something similar to RE4 mixed with like Doom, the arenas and stuff, and the Resident Evil 4 style arenas. I don't know, but in a survival horror way, so that's yet to be seen, but sounds interesting. There's also some occultism going on, which apparently plays a big role in the game and surrounds a cult that worships the abominations created by this new virus. Meanwhile, the antagonist of the game is a mysterious count living in one of the aforementioned castles named Alan. He is said to be the leader of at least a high-ranking member of the Connections. Complementing him is a secondary villain of Natalia Alex Wesker, and it sounds like Blue Umbrella is not only involved, but we will learn more about how they aren't as clean cut as portrayed in Resident Evil 7. The report claims the main enemies are zombies and pale human-like enemies that resemble ganados. Meanwhile, wolves that resemble lickers are also in the mix, as well as some medieval-esque style zombies. The report also mentions werewolf-like enemies and a witch. Lastly, the report mentions that a flashlight will play a major role in the game due to the fact that it's usually very, very dark. And as you would expect, it can run out of batteries, which recharge themselves when they aren't being used. Of course, all of these details should be taken with a major grain of salt. I should say a handful, actually, because they don't match up to the ones we had before, but maybe Capcom have changed that sort of scenario from Mia getting kidnapped to Ethan. Not only is nothing here official, but everything is subject to change. Many of these details echo previous rumours and reports, but there is some brand new information that hasn't been collaborated at all. As always, feel free, and the usual blurb at the bottom. So my ideas of everything. It's very interesting. Like, before the sort of details and some of the supposed leaks, I say supposed because this should be taken with a handful of salt. You know, this isn't set in stone. This isn't like directly from Capcom's mouth and stuff. This is like a leak, and you know, leaks should always be taken at a distance. But yeah, very interesting if true. Before we kind of got the idea that maybe Chris Redfield isn't who he's supposed to be, and he might be a bad guy. In this, he's killed a child, but then he's bandaged up Mia, so there's ulterior motives there. Slight differences. You know, Ethan is kidnapped instead of Mia. Before it was Mia kidnapped, and also the child, and you know, and then Ethan would go after them, go and rescue them. And there was another scenario as well that Dusk Golem came up with, where he said, you know, it's kind of like multiple scenarios. One of the scenarios was that the baby was killed and Mia was kidnapped. Ethan went after them, and the other scenario just said was, you know, that Mia was still pregnant and kidnapped, and Ethan went after them. In this scenario, Ethan is kidnapped. So I don't know which one is which, but like I said, that kind of fuels the fire in terms of it not being like real. That's what I will say. So I don't know what to think really with these leaks. They haven't really talked about anything that's further than you know, the previous leaks we've talked about and we've spoken about. Alan as the antagonist, you know, that could generally be real. Natalia coming back, Alex Wesker from Revelations 2, it could make sense. Apparently this was supposed to be Revelations 3, and then it got changed to RE8, so I don't know. A lot of stuff floating about at the moment. The flashlight idea is interesting. It's nothing new, but it's interesting. I like that. We're going to get a lot more dark environment, supposedly. We got these kind of like liquor style werewolf type enemies, which I, you know, kind of guess they might put in that, because in RE7 the molded, the ones that are like the liquors, they're very much like the liquors. So, you know, I would think that they bring sort of those sort of style enemies back, because I know that the team working on these games, or the teams working on these games, really love the liquors. You know, they do. They have a lot of love for the liquors. I do as well. One of my favourite enemies from the series. So yeah, it's interesting. It's intriguing. Not much to go on in terms of the witch enemy. They didn't really go into details about that, or the werewolves or anything else, because they've already been covered. But we're getting Ganado style enemies, and from what it seems, some pale head style enemies as well as the you know, the zombies in suits of armor. But we got Ganados in suits of armor in RE4, so this is quite heavily inspired by Resident Evil 4. And originally it was going to be, like I said, Revelations 3. Apparently that's the rumor, and they turned it to RE8. So it's very interesting. I want to see some footage. I want to see some images now, you know, instead of just this hearsay stuff and all these leaks and stuff. But I want to know what you guys think about all this. Hope you're keeping yourselves safe. Hope you're having a good week. Let me know in the comment section down below. Do you think it's all bullshit? Do you think there's some basis to this? Let me know. Everything in the comment section as usual. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you like my content and you like me covering Resident Evil and you like me as a content creator. Help me out, subscribe to the channel, share my videos, all that other good stuff. And also don't forget to check out my Shinji Mikami on Resident Evil 4 remake video that's going to be up after this, so have a look at that as well. Until next time, I've been System Check 66, and once again, I'm signing out. Peace.